Hey there friends, welcome back to another Legally Armed America video. I'm of course Paul Glasgow here, the one and only truth pimp, dealing you a vulgar display of logic and reason. Sometimes I like bringing stupid stuff to you guys, because I think that a lot of you out there have the same similar dark sense of humor that I have. Certainly sarcasm is something that I value pretty big in things that I am somewhat fluent in. This is going to be one of those stories that's pretty stupid. Walmart fined for shipping realistic toy guns to New York, State's Attorney General says. Now you guys know Letitia James, right? The big fat greasy looking Attorney General in New York that played games with Donald Trump. I mean, this chick right here, in fact, she's about to get sued for the same thing that she tried to hang some different types of felonies on Donald Trump for. So she's probably going to be in a lot of trouble. So in the meantime, she's chasing toys down. That's right. Toys down. We're not even talking about realistic looking firearms like this. This is actually an air gun that looks like a SIG P365. We're not talking about things like that. I'll show you one of the sample guns here in a second that they're suing over. So she's obviously trying to divert attention to act like she's doing things to make the public safer. Now, according to this story, they have reached a settlement, and I'll give you the details on that here in a second. This was very interesting to me. This is from the Attorney General's own website in New York State. It talks about how there was an investigation by the Office of the Attorney General that found that third-party sellers on Walmart's online store, online, sold realistic-looking toy guns to New Yorkers, and Walmart shipped 9 of them to addresses in New York, including New York City, Westchester, and Westchester, New York. New York law prohibits retailers from selling or shipping toy guns that are black, dark blue, silver, or aluminum colored and look like a real gun. Realistic looking toy guns can be used to engage in unlawful activity and have led to several deaths and shootings across the state. I gotta stop you right there. Here we go again with, is it victim blaming? Okay, what they're referring to is people using something that looks like this, that looks like an actual real gun that you couldn't tell with the naked eye if it was real or not, because it has all the markings and everything of an actual firearm. People using firearms like that to rob stores. Problem is, some people, whether it's people like me and you out there who actually have firearms, we end up shooting these people and come to find out later on they had a replica of an actual firearm. That's not my problem. If you thought it was okay to play grown-ups and threaten me with what you know is a toy but I think is a real gun, it's not my problem. But they're making it sound like in this read-up that these types of firearms have led to lots of things, as if to say it's contributed to, quote, gun violence in the state of New York. Actually, it's probably resulted in a lot of people getting dusted out there. Come to find out, they just had toys on them. Sounds like some stupid criminals to me, is what I'm getting at. Businesses that illegally sell or distribute realistic-looking guns in New York can be fined up to $1,000 per violation. As a result of the settlement, Walmart must pay $16,000 in penalties. That's literally walking around money for somebody in the Walton family. In penalties and fees, and ensure that all its third-party sellers are unable to sell imitation toy guns to New York. So essentially what happened, and this is silly, because now they're going to have to change the, I don't know, the characteristics or something in there, maybe the coding in their own website, because there's online sellers who sold this. A lot of times there's drop ship methods, kind of like Amazon does, but Walmart will deal with third-party people and sell their products like that. Well, whether it came from directly Walmart or not, it came from a third-party person. And it sounds like the website is going to have to be rebuilt similar to a gun website that would prohibit the sale of firearms to, say, California, Washington State, Massachusetts, New York, Illinois, so that some guns might be prohibited in certain states. I guess now Walmart's going to have to go through that trouble and reconfigure their website so that toys pop up a red flag when somebody goes to buy one in the state of New York. Yeah, that's right, toys. What's next, a Frisbee? They double down and say realistic looking toy guns can put communities in serious danger. And that is why they are banned in New York. How does a toy put a community in serious danger? I mean, I understand if the person who is facing down one of these actual non-real guns might think it's real. But at that point, the only person in danger is the criminal, right? Because the person who's being robbed is in no real danger. Now, in their mind, they might think they're in real danger, but in a legal sense, they're not in any kind of danger at all. So it's no danger, literally no danger to a potential victim out there. It's only a danger to those who are faking that they're toy guns and faking a robbery, maybe. So once again, we're sympathizing with criminals here. This is just like the whole illegal aliens coming into the country. We ship them back and, oh, the poor illegal alien. Now we're saying, oh, the poor guy who tried to rob somebody with a fake gun. Interestingly, I think because the attorneys were probably embarrassed whenever they were writing this law, they mention in the lawsuit that they actually call these imitation weapons, not toy guns. I thought that was an interesting term. You know, the attorneys, when they were writing all this wording up for this law, probably looked at that and said, guys, if we put in here that it's illegal for somebody to actually sell toy guns, it just feels stupid because it is so stupid. I know, let's rename it imitation weapon. So throughout this, you can notice that they do mention that toy guns are not toy guns, they're imitation weapons. It has a much seedier and mean and evil sound to it. Now I know what you're waiting on. You're waiting on the picture to see what kind of guns we're talking about. Here's one. Not a good picture, I apologize, but that's Letitia James and her potato camera taking this picture. It looks like no real guns that I've ever seen. I do see that there's what appears to be a barrel magazine or a drum magazine over to the bottom left-hand corner, and it looks like a couple of stick magazines in the middle there. This does appear to be some kind of an old Tech 9 or Mac 10 looking gun, but it obviously it has a much more futuristic look to it. There's no gun on the market that has that exact shape, I believe. I mean, and for the most part, it's got the look of some guns, but it's definitely been cleaned up to make it look a little more futuristic and spacey looking. But yeah, that's literally one of the guns that was administered and given to the courts for an Exhibit A or B or whatever. So yeah, this is a legitimate thing right here. And then notice they even were so kind enough to put what looks to be an arm brace down there at the bottom left-hand corner also. So all scary stuff, all real scary stuff. Apparently this can't be black, gray, quote, aluminum looking, and has to be painted in bright colors or be perfectly clear, right? I can't help but repeat myself that here we go again, feeling sorry for somebody who's actually committing a crime, trying to hold people up. That's the people that this law is intended to protect. That's the only people who are in any danger, right? The other people might be in danger of losing stuff if they believe that it's a real gun looking at them. But I find it hard to believe that if you looked at this, you would take that person seriously because it looks like they're holding you up with a water gun. But here we go again with aesthetics. Looks. How does that gun look? It's all up here. It's all mind games. When they start talking about looks and different characteristics of a gun, it's all a mind game at that point. It's a matter of what can we make people think is scary. And if we say it enough times, they'll start to believe that it's scary. So let's outlaw these things, these imitation weapons. Let's outlaw these things, and at some point, people will start to get mind-effed and think that anything that resembles a gun, including a gun, is dangerous. Because by God, if we can convince them that a toy gun is a danger to the community, how easy is it to convince them that a real gun is actually dangerous?
I'm sorry, I thought this was America. It's over.